When life speeds up and the world gets noisy, your inner voice can fade into the background. This episode helps you reconnect with yourself again, regain clarity, and move through the noise without losing your center. Now, when was the last time you actually heard yourself think? What if the real problem isn't stress, it's noise? And what if the clarity you've been missing is already inside you, waiting for space? So let's talk about how to hear yourself again when the world gets loud. There are seasons when the world feels louder than usual. Not because anything dramatic is happening, but because everything around you seems to move a little faster, ask a little more, or pull your attention in more directions than you expected. You're doing what you always do, showing up, taking care of what needs to be done, and staying steady for the people who rely on you. But somewhere in the middle of all that motion, you realize something simple. You haven't heard yourself in a while. It's not that you're disconnected, it's that the noise around you has slowly taken up more space than you meant to give it. And without noticing it, your inner voice, the quiet one you trust, has gotten harder to hear. This happens easily in early spring because life starts moving again. People reach out more, and plans pick up. Expectations shift. The world wakes up, and with that awakening comes more sound, more emotion, more emotional volume. Now, none of it is wrong, but it can make it harder to stay connected to the part of you that knows what you need, what matters, and what pace is right for you. You don't lose yourself all at once. It happens in small ways. A rushed morning, a crowded schedule, a conversation that lingers longer than it should. And then one day, you notice you've been responding to everything around you without checking in with the person inside you. That moment of noticing is the beginning of the return. Now, here's what we want to recognize. The world gets loud in different ways. Sometimes it's the literal noise of constant notifications and responsibilities. Sometimes it's emotional noise, other people's urgency, their expectations and their moods. And sometimes it's the quiet pressure of keeping up with everything you're committed to. You feel it before you name it. A little more tension in your shoulders, a little less patience, a little more distraction, a sense that your attention is scattered instead of centered. Now, these aren't signs of failure, they're signals, reminders that your inner world has a volume of its own, and it gets harder to hear when everything outside of you is turned up too high. Now, recognizing this moment doesn't require a dramatic pause, it just requires honesty, a simple acknowledgement. I've been moving through the noise instead of listening beneath it. That recognition is the doorway back to yourself. Now we need to consider returning to the part that you know. Now once you notice the noise, the next step isn't to escape it, it's to reconnect with the part of you that knows how to navigate it. Your inner voice doesn't shout, it doesn't compete, it waits. And when the world gets loud, it's easy to forget that it's still there. You return to it by slowing down just enough to hear the difference between the world's volume and your own. Sometimes that means taking a breath before you respond. Sometimes it means stepping out of the rush for a moment. And sometimes it means asking yourself a simple question. What do I actually need right now? Not what you should need, and not what others expect you to need. What you need. And this isn't self-indulgence, it's self-orientation. That's the quiet act of turning your attention inward long enough to hear the signal beneath the noise. And when you do, something shifts. The world doesn't get quieter, but you do. And in that quiet, your clarity returns. Now let's talk about grounding yourself. Once you reconnect with your inner voice, grounding helps you stay there. Not by withdrawing from the world, but by anchoring yourself inside it. Grounding is simple. Your feet on the floor, your breath moving in and out, your attention settling into your body instead of scattering outward. These small anchors bring you back to the present moment, and it's the only place where your inner voice can be heard. Now, when you're grounded, the noise around you loses its pull. It's still there, but it's no longer deciding your pace or your direction, because grounding doesn't require silence. It just requires presence. And presence is what allows you to hear yourself again, even when life is moving quickly. Now, as we go through the world, we need to think about not losing ourselves. Now, here's where you want to carry your inner clarity back into your day. You don't need the world to be quiet for you to stay connected to yourself. You just need to stay close to the part of you that knows what matters, what pace feels right for you, and what deserves your attention. You can move through noise without absorbing it, and you can show up for others without losing yourself. You can stay steady without carrying everything, and you can be present without being pulled. Because hearing yourself again isn't about retreating, it's about returning, remembering that your inner voice is still there, still trustworthy, and still available, even when the world gets loud. So let this be the moment you come back to it, gently, steadily, and without apology. Now you take care and stay connected.